Today we are going to develop the agent-based simulation in AnyLogic, and agent-based simulation is a modeling and computational framework for simulating dynamic processes that involve autonomous agent. The autonomous agent acts on its own without external direction in response to situations the agent encounters during the simulation. So in other words, the agent itself has its own decision-making process, so it can actually understand the situation in the simulation and then make its own decision, right? So like a human, it has an autonomous decision-making process, so it can make a decision, okay, by itself based on by perceived information given by simulation, okay. So it's a very popular technique, especially to mimic the human's behavior or the behavior of machines or other transportation. And today we are going to develop the supply chain uh, model actually using GIS platform in AnyLogic. And so particularly our agent will be truck, right? So truck delivering the product from the distribution center to the retailers, okay. For example, let me run the model here. So if I run the model, and as you can see under the GIS map, each truck actually following the roadway, okay, and then deliver the product from the distribution center to the retailer, okay, in francs, okay. So distribution center is located in Paris, and then other retailers actually is distributed spread like over the francs. So you can actually, but you can actually, if you have other GIS map of the other area, you can also use this technique to develop the supply chain model, and then this can be utilized to estimate the performance of the supply chain network. Okay. Right, so let's develop this model. In order to develop this model, first of all, you need to create the model, right? So if you go to select the new and then model, and you can generate the new model. So let's type the supply chain GIS. By the way, this tutorial also is provided by the AnyLogic software, so you can easily find this tutorial. Okay, but in case that you are not really familiar with developing models based on the manual or tutorial materials, so that's why I give you the video. Okay, so you can also follow this video and select the hour as a time unit. Okay, so once you have all the setting like this, and then you can actually generate the model, actually simulation model, and here is the location of your simulation model, okay, and the extension of the AnyLogic file has a ALP, and click finish to create the project. Okay, and then under this is a project view, and then this is a palette, and then under the project view you can see the new project called the supply chain GIS, right? If you double click this, and you can see the main view having nothing, right? So you don't have anything here. You have nothing here. All right, so let's change the view. So let's select the palette here, and then we are going to use GIS, right? So if you click this network, so space marker, and you can actually see many tools over here, right? And let's click the GIS map, and drag and drop the GIS map over here. Okay, so you can see the map, right? And also, if you look at the property of the GIS map on through this property view, and you can actually see the detail settings. So here, let me just increase the size of property view for you. And originally, this GIS is provided by the AnyLogic, so you use AnyLogic. You can see the AnyLogic over here. Okay. And so and our routing server is AnyLogic. It's provided by AnyLogic, so you can keep this, right? So technically, yeah, you don't need to change anything here. All right. So you can also change the size of this view if you want it, GIS environment. And here you may wonder about this blue line, right? This is the outline of the simulation model. Especially when you run the simulation model, you can see the everything in this blue box. Okay. So let's have this kind of shape. Okay, and let's have this arc map over here, GIS map here. And if you double click your GIS app, and then if you type the francs, and you can actually see the detail map, or if you click the area or map, and then you can actually find the francs over here. Okay, if you scroll, if you zoom in or if you zoom out, and then definitely you can see the more information. If you zoom in, you can see the more information, especially roadways in France. Okay, so let's keep this map like this. All right. So let's create the agent. Okay, so in this map, especially distribution center. So if you go to palette and then click this agent library, and you can add an agent over here. Okay, initially you can select the single agent, and we have 3 different type of agent, but let's choose a single agent. And name of the single agent is what? Distributor. Okay, and then click next. So we are going to use 2D, but if you want it, you can use a 3D, but let's use a 2D. Okay, and here we have warehouse, and click finish. Okay, and let's double click this map, and then let's zoom in the map until you find the area called Billancourt. Yes. All right. So, and when you choose, so you can actually place the distribution center over here. And if you click the space markup, and you can also choose this GIS point over here. And let's drag and drop this GIS point over here. And location can be slightly different, okay? You don't need to really worry about it. Okay, doesn't matter to develop the simulation model in this example. Okay. And let's say this GIS point is, let's name this GIS point. Okay, let's keep this name, okay, for now. And if you go out, and then if you click this distributor, and let's look at the property of this distributor. And basically you can specify the initial location of this distributor. So choose an in node, okay, and then node, you have a GIS point, right? So initially the location of the distributor will be at this point. Good. So let's run the model. So when you run the model, you can see the map, and then you know distributor, right? Distribution center at near Paris. Got it? So that's it. Nothing happened because we don't have we didn't specify the actions, behavior of the agent. And you can also save the project by clicking this save button. And next, let's create another agent called retailers. So if you click the agent library, and you can drop this, right? Right, in this case, we can choose a population of the agent because we have multiple retailers, right? And then click next. The name of the agent is a retailer. And usually population name has a S, okay? So you don't need to change anything. Click next. No. Yeah, choose use database table, okay? And here, let's click the browse button to find the list of the, yes, it should be under program files, PLE, and then under the this folder, and then there is a resources. There is a resource folder, and then under the resource, and you have a tutorials, right? And here's a supply chain, and you can choose this data file. Okay, so the folder name is slightly different, maybe. In that case, you need to find your AnyLogic folder first, and then go to resources. Under the AnyLogic folder, there should be resources folder, and then choose the tutorial and supply chain so that you can find this data Excel file. Click open, and then click next, right? Okay, so and then let's click the 2D in here so that you can select the retailer store shape and click finish. And now you can see the retailers in the map. And let's look at the property of the retailers, okay? And here you can also choose, so here, let's choose the GIS location name. So that this location will be utilized as a location name in GIS map, okay? And let me zoom out the map here. To see whole France. Okay. Save the model and run the model. Yes, so if you run the model, actually you can see the multiple retailers over the frames. Okay, like this. So all the locations already given by the database. So please utilize the data Excel file, and especially if you have multiple agents such as the retailers, okay, in the map. That's the easiest way to populate the multiple retailers in the map. Okay, let's close this. And let's add a truck. Okay, adding a truck. So you can do the same thing, drag and drop this agent. And then in this case, you need to select what? Single agent, either single agent or population of agent. And this is just logic. You don't have any animation. So in this case, let's choose a population of an agent because we are generating multiple trucks, right? So let's type vehicle, and each population will have vehicles. Okay. And also agent will be used in flowchart agent. So click next. And figure, let's choose 2D. And then there should be truck. Either this or this. Yeah, this is better, right? Just same as our example. And click next. And we will generate, and then click next again. And we will generate 15 agent, right? So in this case, we are not going to use the database, okay? So that's why you need to specify a number of agent here and click finish so that you can have vehicles population of agent of vehicle agent, okay? And let's look at the property of vehicle to specify the location. So in the node, initially, we will use the GIS point, okay? So that all trucks can start from this distribution center, okay? Initially. And now the size of truck is too big, right? So if you want to reduce the size of truck, and let's open this vehicle agent here. So you can use the project bar, the project window. And here, if you click the truck, and then you can reduce the size of truck like this. Good. So if you go back to main, you have this kind of small truck. Yeah, this is yes, it's a small truck. Let me just close another model. All right. Okay, and then we need to specify the movement of truck, right? In order to do that, you can go back to the vehicle agent and then create the flow state diagram, state chart. Okay, so if you go back to palette, and then there should be a state chart in agent library, and here you can put the starting point and then initial state. Okay, and then this state name should be add this distributor. Okay, and then next the truck will will move from the distributor to retailer, right? So let's put another state called moving to retailer. And then you need the transition arrow. Got it? And in transition arrow, so that agent at this state can move to the another state via this transition arrow. Okay? And this one, let's say this threshold rate is a rate, and then rate is 1 per day. So every day truck will move. Okay. Action. We need to specify the action actually using the command. Here, move to means is move something to the destination. So we need to specify a destination in this function, which is retailers. Okay, and then random means with the random order. So this is just an example. So you can send the truck to any different retailers in random order. But you have a traveling plan and you can specify a destination, okay, in future. Okay, and then add another state so that truck can return to the distributor, right? And then also we need transition arrow, right? And then this state name should be moving to this distributor. And here the type of this transition is agent arrival. So once agent arrive at this state, it will directly return to the distributor, right? Directly move to this state. And then we want to send this truck, send the truck at this state to the distributor, right? So here, and the type of transition should be, this transition should be an agent arrival, right? So they can go back to the agent at the retailer can go back to the distributor. Got it? Okay, and then save the model and run the simulation model. If you increase the speed, you can see that there's nothing right coming back to the distributor. Why? Because we didn't specify any action, right? Using a code. That's why. So in AnyLogic, you have to specify the action using Java code or command. Okay. So here you need to type what? You need to type here in action. You have to type move to, right? Again, right? So move to what? Move to, and it should be destination, right? So move to main dot distributor. So you may wonder why we have a main here, because distributor is a distributor agent is under main, right? Under main here, so that's why. So you need to have a main, which is referred to this main object, and then under the main object we have distributor. All right, and save this. Let me run the simulation model again. Okay, let me increase the speed, and then it's go back to the truck, right? It's going back to the distribution center, right? As you can see. Okay, let's assume that retailer also can send the order to the distributor, so the distributor can deliver the product based on the order. Okay, the pooling system, right? So in order to do that, let's create another agent type. So in this case, agent type only. Choose agent type only. Okay, because order is not visible. That's why. And this one should be order. Agent name is order. So and click next. And then we don't have any like image. So click none. Next. And let's create the parameters. So if you click the parameter, you can have amount. So order quantity, right? And then let's use the integer. Also, let's add another one. This is our amount integer, and another one is what? Let's type the retailer name, and type should be other. And here you can choose a retailer so that we can know which order it, so there is, if there is an order, and the distributor should know which retailer actually made that kind of order, right? So that's why. And click finish. And if you go back to the project bar, there is an order agent, right? To double click it, and you can see the order agent having two parameters. Right. So now you are ready to use this order agent. And in order to generate the order, let's go back to the retailer agent, because retailer agent can generate the order, right? And in order to do that, let's use event item, right? So which generate the event actually over the time. So in our case, this will generate what? This will generate the order. Okay, so click rate. So for the in the event property, you can click rate, and this one is later will be 1 per day. Okay, and then in action you have to type the command. So order. So this is the, if you know the Java language, actually you can see you can understand what we're doing. So create the order object, and using new keyword with following, and with this information. And call the truck, and get the nearest truck. So last one is a send the order object and truck object. Okay, and truck object order, we just generate the order object and truck object here using Java keywords, right? Using Java language, and then order has these two information. So this is what? This is a quantity, right? Amount, and this is a what? Retailer name, right? So because yeah, so this one, I mean, so this keyword and using Java actually referring to the object itself. So since we are using this code in retail object, from the retail object, so you will have a retail object, right? All right, and then get nearest agent function will find identifying the nearest truck object. And let's go back to the vehicle object, and then add a variable, and let's call this one is order, and type of this variable is order, so that order object can be stored in this variable. And also, after this action, you can also type the order and with the message, and this is triggered by message. Okay, and here's the order. So once order is generated by the sent by retailer, and then this event will be triggered so that the truck at distribution center distributor can move to the go through this transition arrow, okay, so that it can move to the retailers. But instead of the random order, now we know which, right? Now we know which retailer actually made that order. So you can, once it has a message, and then you can get the retailer information, right? And let's run the model. All right. So as a result, actually, the simulation actually act as the same, but act just similar to the previous simulation model. Currently, it also has a similar routine. However, so order in this case, instead of random order, actual order is generated by the retailer, right? And then get the truck from this distribution center, right? Because in the model, retailer originally generate the order, and then request a truck right near this truck actually, right? So and then send this message to the main, actually to all entire simulation model. So once it sends the message, okay, and then this vehicle agent can receive the message, and then trigger this event so that truck can travel from the distributor to the retailer.